A marvelous marriage has a not-so-marvelous ending for Count Olaf. Are the Baudelaire orphans finally free? We're talking Season 1, Episode 2 of a series of unfortunate events coming up next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Look away, look away, look away, look away.
Whoa, on key and everything. Okay, Dakota. Nice. They're going to have to hire you to sing it for next season or something.
Right.
He is. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again here on AfterBuzz TV for our after show for Netflix is a series of unfortunate events. We've got so much to talk about for Season 1, Episode 2, The Bad Beginning Part 2. But before we get started, we will tell you guys who we are because that is important. I am Miaira Jennings. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miaira Jennings. That's Miaira Jennings. And my panel over here.
Hey everyone, it's Ivanna, and you can find me on Twitter at Ivanna Williams.
What's up, guys? It's Dakota T. Jones. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T. Jones.
Cool. Thanks for showing up, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
All this
rainy in
rain.
LA
It's
if you guys
bad.
don't know.
Yes.
So we've got some
Tough.
dripping and dropping in here too. So don't mind, if you
don't
can
mind
see
the water.
it. But that's all right. We're still here ready to talk about the show.
Yeah.
So this was a cool episode. I like this one. It was
Oh
fun.
my gosh,
yeah.
Very
It was jam-packed. It was a lot of events in this one. I'm like, this wasn't in the book.
Yeah, I don't remember all of this, and I know they were going to change some things, but we'll get to it if we remember. If not, no big deal. But the opening starts out with a flashback, which is pretty cool, of Mr. Poe in the bank before he tells the kids what happened to their parents, and he's trying to get all of their affairs situated, and I'm like, this poor man.
Yeah.
Okay, can we just talk about his cringeworthy cough? Like,
It's so gross all the time.
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm like,
I feel like I remember him coughing in the book, no?
Yeah,
No,
he
he
had a
did.
nasty cough
But they
in the
never
book.
explain.
well, and even in
Is
the
he ill?
movie, he coughed a little bit, but it wasn't like to the extent as the Netflix show.
I don't know. I feel like it's about the same. 'Cause
Really?
in the book, it was very exaggerated.
But maybe though in the new TV show it's more guttural. Like it sounds like almost like he's coughing up parts of his lungs.
Yeah.
Do you remember
Because
whenever
at one part he wipes it and he looks in it
And
and,
then
then
he
he folds
licks
it
it.
down. And I'm like, ew.
Yeah.
like, he
it's
looks at it like something came up, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
So-
they've
world.
definitely exaggerated
This man
that,
is
which is
slowly
pretty
dying.
funny because I feel like they are taking these characters and like amplifying them to make
Yeah.
sure that you remember these
Truly,
characteristics.
yeah.
Truly.
So it's funny, but we see that he's trying to get everything situated, and right off the bat, Count Olaf is on it. Like we see the backstory behind how he became their guardian.
Yeah.
How can Mr. Poe be so gullible? I don't understand.
like,
That's what
literally
annoyed me in the book
face-
the whole time. Like, well,
Yeah.
how can he not realize?
I know, because the face, like he took off the glasses, at one point. He's like, oh, we've never met because of my mole.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
And so I was like, okay,
what?
keep your sunglasses on at least, because your face looks exactly like it would. But I love the montage whenever he's like, you forgot the costumes, and he goes and runs and like steals a bunch of stuff.
Right.
That was brilliant. Like the whole thing, it really made me think, okay, this is just like the books. Like he's so thrifty and so evil, and he just does what he has to do, and he always gets away with it.
Yeah,
almost.
he's very quick on his feet. And when he stole something from that blind man, I was like, oh my God, that is so evil.
yeah.
but it's
His
him.
scarf or
Like,
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny because last week we really didn't get like the extent of his love for theater and like becoming characters, and so now in this episode we were introduced to that, and we know it only goes on from here. So I think that's fun.
Yeah.
I like that they did that. And now we are introduced to Jacqueline, Mr. Poe's secretary, which I don't remember if she was in the book or not. Do you guys remember?
If she was, I believe she might have been, but I know her assistant Gustav was apparently only briefly mentioned in the books. But
Yeah.
I think they're giving them more of a role,
Yeah,
because I think
definitely.
in the books we kind of just saw it from the children's perspective pretty much, or like Lemony Snicket was reading it to us type of thing. But I don't remember quite those two characters, but I
Okay.
feel like since it's a TV show,
Yeah.
they have more room to kind of throw in and give people more of a part, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I do like it because it's kind of like a separate little storyline that we kind of get glimpses of it throughout. It's exciting.
Yeah, I really like Jacqueline, and it
Yeah.
seems like she is part of this secret organization that we are not informed about completely yet, but she's determined to stop Count Olaf, and she's on the Baudelaire side, which is cool. But I really like her character. She's strong. She's cool. Yeah, what do you think?
I do too. She like you said, she's very determined. When she was on the phone, as soon as Count Olaf walked up, she was like, "Let me call you back" or something. I'm like, does she already know him by his presence? It's like they've met many times before. It was so like familiar for her.
It seemed like they definitely had a relationship, because she looked up and they fought over the file as if they knew each other, type of thing. And then not only that, but then she goes in, she's like, "I need to talk to you, Mr. Poe," and then she goes out and then looks for those people, like the rest of his clan, and then gets kidnapped. So it's almost like she knows exactly who they are
before.
But she knows she can't just say, "Oh, hey, Mr. Poe, this is what's going on," because he's not going to listen.
Yeah, Mr. Poe, unfortunately, is not the go-to guy.
No.
And we know this. But Jacqueline, she's very determined. And like you guys said, it seems like she's been maybe investigating Olaf and his crew for a while. So she's onto him. She's working on it, and hopefully she succeeds.
Hopefully.
But until then, we cut to Violet and Klaus talking about their situation finally. And they just don't want to be there anymore. What are they going to do? Because they're weighing out their options. They can try to tell
they don't
somebody.
have many.
Yeah. What do you think they should have done at that point? Is there anything they could have done?
I don't know. I don't think there is. It's one of those.
know.
They're so trapped, and it's one of those things where if I can think back, and if this would have happened to me, you literally can't go anywhere because you're a minor, and if you escape,
money of your own, really, right?
And if you escape, you're just gonna get caught and taken and put back and get in trouble. So it's almost like even thinking about it makes me feel like a weight, like, oh my gosh, I'm trapped. You know what I'm saying?
Right? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think that they really could have done anything because they have all these crazy people watching them. You know.
Yeah, it seems like there are few people who are actually competent.
Yeah.
And that must be so frustrating, especially for kids who are so intelligent. And
right. And they're so much smarter than adults around them. Oh,
I know.
Yeah, so they have a rough road ahead. But nevertheless, they decide to try to talk to Mr. Poe.
Come on.
It's like a brick wall, right? So they're trying to explain what happened, and Mr. Poe is taking things so literally. I don't know what to say. He's like, well, you know what? This is your guardian. You have to do what he says, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, come on, please,
I know.
see what's going on
here.
here.
I have a question for you guys. Do you know what was going on with those phone calls? Because it was like, yes, 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 yes.
Oh,
no.
yeah.
And then
Interrupting.
6, anything but 6. Or whatever, 7. I don't know.
I don't know if that was just meant to, like, interrupt the kids while they were trying to talk about their despair, or if
I don't know if it had much of a purpose. I'm not sure.
Because I was like, that's just interesting. The way that they threw that in there, I was like, are we supposed to get something from 7, anything but 7?
Oh,
like, I don't
right?
get it. Like, I didn't understand that part. Maybe it is. You know how like in Snoopy, or I don't know, I think it's Snoopy, where like the adults are they talk or something, and it's like wah 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 wah. So maybe it was kind of like doing something kind of like that, where the adults just talk about like silly
just
stuff.
Fillers? I don't know.
I was interested to see.
I initially didn't think much into it because I'm like, this doesn't really have much of a purpose. But
I hope it does. That would be cool.
Yeah.
If you guys have any ideas, comment below and let us know.
Yeah.
And definitely, I'm gonna make a note of that because I want to look out for, meaning.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. So Count Olaf is talking to them later on when they come back from Mr. Poe's office because, surprise, surprise, he wants them to star in his play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh gosh.
Right.
And at first I'm like, oh man, like maybe he's trying to be a little nice because he's got those cupcakes. But
those
of course,
cupcakes, and when he slides across the table like that,
this is
I'm
too
like,
much.
I'm gonna try
and the way that he posed, I'm like, okay, stop.
I'm like, I gotta try this next time.
so brilliantly annoying. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they obviously know something is not right. And it turns out that this play, which is The Marvelous Marriage, is actually just a ploy to get Violet to marry Count Olaf. And I'm just, cringe.
Gross. What a predator.
Cringe.
So
how do you even think of this idea?
It's like, I think he probably honestly was just looking for the stupidest ways to get the money. Like, honestly, like, there's so many things that you could, maybe not. Maybe this was the only option. I don't know. But I guess the way he thinks, he's like, oh, of course, I'm just going to marry her, get all the money, no problem.
Yeah.
Type of thing. But, man, like, she's a minor, and he's, like, kind of old and crusty, and, like...
Very crusty. Crusty man. Yeah. They figure this out, I think, and they really have no choice but to go to Justice Strauss because she seems like...
Which that only makes sense. You gotta go to a judge, somebody who knows the law.
Yeah, so they're just looking for books to try to help out their situation. Klaus is looking for books
back in their
on
safe
nuptial
space.
law. Yeah, and I just want them to stay.
I know.
You know?
If we could just have them stay and then just see what happens with that storyline, like, okay, we're having a whole new series. It's like living with Justice Strauss, but
that would be in a perfect world, right?
Yeah.
But what's crazy to me, and I know obviously for story purposes they went this route, but why do you think they went to her just to find the books and not to tell her the truth about what was going on?
Right. I don't know.
Do you guys have any ideas?
Wait, what?
Like, so, you know, they go to her to look in her library for books on nuptial law and theater and whatever else, but they don't really come out and tell her, listen, Count Olaf is crazy, he slapped Klaus, like he's trying to marry Violet.
Because she also asked at some point, she was like, what happened to your face?
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't speak.
I was kind of surprised at that because I'm like, okay, I mean, I know that they're scared of him, but they have a moment alone with her, and she does, even though she's crazy, she does seem to be somewhat competent in like, if Klaus was to say Olaf has slapped me or something, she might be like, oh, okay, something's wrong here. But I don't know, she kind of is pretty gullible, everything.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, and it's like, it's just such a funny thing with these characters because you grow to love them so much. Especially, I love Justice Strauss. But at the same time, they throw in these different dynamics where you get frustrated with them too, you know? Because she's not perfect. She's kooky and she's a little out of it, but, you know, she cares for the kids. So that's good. You know, it adds some complexity to the characters, which I like.
I just love her. Honestly, I know a lot of people have said mixed feelings about her being cast. She's like one of my favorite characters on the show.
She's very warm and comforting, you know?
And this is kind of a little sidebar, but you know how like last week I thought that Justice Strauss from this is the same Justice Strauss as the movie? Well, obviously that's not true, but apparently that someone in the comments was telling me that the actress who played, her name is Catherine O'Hare, she who played in the movie actually has a role in the TV or in the Netflix show. So she's going to be in, like, I think she is in this season, but it's a little further on where she's like do you guys remember where there was like a girl who was like telling Count Olaf fortunes, you know, in the miserable mill or something like that.
Oh, maybe. Oh, okay.
And so she is the very beginning of that book.
Oh,
I see.
And Count Olaf was kind of like asking her questions, and she was telling them. So apparently that's the character she's playing. So yeah, I'm really excited to see if there's any more of those.
Yeah, you know? We'll definitely have to look that up because, like I said, the movie wasn't my favorite adaptation of this of the books. Yeah, I know. I keep saying it. But I did like, you know, there were some parts that I liked, and there were some actors that I liked in it. So it'll be cool to see them resurface in the series.
If only Jim Carrey could come back. Oh my goodness.
That's funny. What would he?
I don't even know.
He could be like the Hooked Man or something like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Which, by the way, is probably one of my favorite henchmen.
He's a great actor. Like,
and we'll get to him. But yeah, so it seems like they're making headway looking through these books, and Count Olaf realizes, he's like, no, you know, I got to stop them.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to ruin this party.
Yeah, just ruin it. And it's funny because this is when we really see Justice Strauss's, like, I guess this empty void that she wants to fill because she always, you know, she says she wants to be an actress, and Count Olaf offers her a role in his play, and she jumps at it, and so all of her suspicions, I guess, were replaced by this opportunity to be a judge in his play. What did you guys think about that?
Girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. She didn't ask for any further information on it or nothing.
She was so excited. He's like, there's going to be talent scouts looking for a woman your age. And I was like,
no, it's not.
And she was like, oh my gosh. And she seemed like she was so
this is my
into
chance.
it. Like, I was dying.
That was so funny. That was one of my favorite moments because clearly she has dreams that were never met.
Yeah, dreams deferred. But,
and she kind of holds Count Olaf in like this weird, like,
high
place.
regard.
Yeah, just weird. Kind like he's the star actor in the town.
I know. And then Violet's gonna be my wife in it, and she's like, "Oh, you're so lucky, Violet."
Yeah, right. Like gross, girl. Can you?
It's just really funny that she's excited about that.
And she was so excited about it. He's like, "You're not even gonna be mentioned in the playbill or in the program." Like he's like, it's a small role that's not mentioned in the program, but she was just like so for it. She was so happy.
Oh man,
low standards, man.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you know, if you give somebody an opportunity they've always wanted, sometimes you gotta jump at it.
Yep.
I ain't mad at it. But after that, so we see that I guess the kids are tired of whatever Count is planning. So they just say, hey, you know what? We know what you're doing. Klaus says, we know what you're doing. You're not going to marry my sister. And so he gives them an ultimatum. All right. Well, Sonny's hanging up from that tower. So what you going to do now?
Oh, my
God.
I really want to know how that happened, because literally Klaus ran up there, Violet met him, and then they went back, and then Sonny was gone, but all the henchmen were downstairs.
So that's a good point.
Who took
so
Sonny?
fast.
And I don't know who did, but maybe, you know, if she was sleeping, maybe they'd already taken her before. But I mean, Violet seemed to have been with her the whole time, so like, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, I'm pretty sure all the henchmen and everyone was downstairs, so I don't know.
Even though I've read the book before and I already knew that this was going to happen, I still felt, I was so happy that Klaus like read the law to him and everything. But you know, of course, Count Olaf is like, look, whatever he said back about how she has permission, she has more than permission. I was like, okay, that's gross. But,
Oh my gosh! And like whenever he said, I don't know if this was at this particular scene, but he says, I'll touch whatever I want to touch, and he like kind of grabbed her. I was like, that's like,
I need a shower.
That's very like
explicit,
sexual.
Predatory, all the words.
Predatory. That's the word I was looking for, because it's very.
It's very disturbing. I like it. I like that they're getting into the. Well, I mean, I don't
Wait
like.
a minute.
No.
Hold up.
I don't like
Cancel the show.
explicit, touching comments, but I do like.
I love it.
Getting a little more dark and like creepy. For Count Olaf's character.
Okay.
Because you know, it is one of those things where it is a book that's widely popular with children, like the series. It's everyone loves it. It's super mysterious and fun, and the right amount of scary, you know. But at the same time, there's a lot of really kind of real life scary situations in it, and the fact that they are allowing them to kind of be more unfiltered with it. Sure, it's like a predatory comment. It's kind of really nasty, gross, but it's like more realistic in the sense of like Count Olaf is not all sunshine and butterflies. Like, he's a messed up dude. So I do like seeing some of the kind of like stuff that's kind of shocking. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that, because they would never do that in the movie or the books. But it's like, well, this is kind of the reality of it.
We see him as more of a sociopath, like humanized. I think we in the book we were able to kind of just like draw in our own elements and just create whoever Count Olaf was in our own mind. And in the series, they really like bring it forth. Like, this is how a sociopath acts. This is how a predator acts, and I do appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I like that you made that point, because I think that's what's been the biggest deciding factor on how people respond to Count Olaf, especially Neil Patrick Harris as Count Olaf versus Jim Carrey, which of course it's not really fair to compare because they're two different entities, but whatever. I think when I was reading the books, I was picturing just like the villain side. I was like reading it as this dark mystery beyond my years, and a lot of other people just responded to it as like this quirky character who's like weird and just wants the money.
It's so much more than that.
So I like how they're portraying his character so far.
Yes.
And Neil Patrick Harris as Count Olaf is truly growing on me. I think we were all pretty skeptical last week, but now that we see him, we're like, okay, I like this. I can deal.
I do. I really
I'm used to
him.
like rom-com and just like comedic Neil Patrick Harris, like you know the characters that he would play. So he's doing great.
Yeah, I want to know though, if like he's obviously wearing some kind of prosthetic here, like his forehead is so much bigger.
His face, But
like, I love that the way they made him look was so much like what I envisioned as Count Olaf. So I really appreciate that. I think that they've done a great job, and he is the right amount of scary, the right amount of quirky, the right amount of everything.
Gross,
I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest of the season for sure.
Yeah, I think he's doing a great job.
Really.
Definitely. So we see that Violet, gets to work on her innovative skills, and she makes this grappling hook to save Sonny, and we get a little glimpse of hope because everything is working so great. I'm like, man, she's so smart. But then, of course, the hook-handed man stops her.
I know.
And they're all being held captive, basically, and he's like, you have this amount of time. If you don't do this, we're going to drop her. And they're trying to figure out ways to get out of it, but it seems like they've hit a dead end. What were you guys thinking could have been their plan at this point?
I don't know, but I did love the whole process of her inventing and getting it all ready. And it was like this intense 2-minute thing of her putting everything together.
I was like, come on, girl, you got it.
And she puts it up there, and then boom, it all just shatters. Like all of this was for nothing.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know what they're. I mean, I don't know
just
if
to see that face again. Like,
I'm like, come on, like this hooked man is like waiting for me at the top. But I don't know. I just think that whole thing was just. I loved seeing like the build up, and then boom, shut down once again, because I feel like that's the book over and over and over again. They gain progress, they get somewhere, and then boom, they get shut down.
And I really like the hook-handed man. I really like his character.
No,
I
he's
just
a
think
great
he's
character.
hilarious. I think he's so funny. Like, I don't think I mentioned this, but last week when they were serving the pasta and everybody was getting their own, and then it was his turn, and he's like, I can't do it. Like, serve my pasta.
Hello.
Just his lines are so witty and like so random and funny. I really like.
I do, and he's got like a great little eyebrow thing.
Yeah.
He does. Like, he's
I gotta look him. I want to try to get him in here because I think he's funny. But he's one of my favorite henchmen. Yeah. But moving on, so now we get to see more of Sunny, which I thought was exciting because she's pretty smart too, even though she's just a baby. So she basically tricks the hook-handed man into tying himself up and doing all this stuff because she beats him at the card game.
That card game was hilarious.
Wasn't
I'm like,
it?
here we go with Puppet Sunny again. Like,
she's like,
he saw her little hands over those cards, and I'm like, oh, okay.
So funny. By the way, fun fact, that's not even a baby's voice. That's the woman who does Sunny's voice is the same woman who did like voices for Rugrats and stuff.
No way.
Yeah, fun fact. It's not even a baby's voice.
Remember when we looked up on IMDb and there was like an older woman?
Yes, that's why.
We were like, what is this?
Yeah, that's why.
So that makes
Like,
sense.
this is a grown Sunny. Yeah. Okay, I guess so.
Yeah, a little tidbit of information for
That's
you guys.
funny. Now it all makes sense.
It does.
We were like, IMDb, you made a mistake, girl.
I know.
This is not
Because we were like, even from the movie, like, she's not 35 now. Like, this is only like 7-something years ago.
Yeah,
I don't know who this lady is.
Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, so now you guys know that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I love knowing things like that.
So finally, the pinnacle of the episode, the play begins. You know, the production has started, and it seems like a lot of people from town are in attendance. So I'm kind of feeling like Count Olaf is kind of popular as an actor. Because why were they there if he wasn't? You know?
Yeah, and like they were very dressed up too. I'm like, oh, so this is like it was established.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, excuse me.
I know.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, so he must be like pretty revered as an actor.
I guess so. I mean, he's pretty bad, but it was really funny to watch.
Or maybe the town doesn't have much entertainment, so they're like, whatever, I'm gonna jump at this chance to watch something.
True.
I was so entertained though whenever he's like, I'm literally standing at the edge of a pond. and like Gustav and Jacqueline are like, figuratively.
Yeah.
Figuratively.
Yeah.
Every time.
My heart is literally breaking. Like, all of those lines were just super funny.
Yeah, that was funny. And the tension builds in that scene because it starts and they're acting and we obviously know that they're about to get married and Judge Strauss is about to witness it and she doesn't even know. And I'm just thinking, my mind is running like, is there anything else they could have done in that moment? Do you guys have any ideas?
If Sunny would have showed up a little earlier from being beaten from poker, they could have just grabbed her and ran, to be honest.
That's true.
I mean, I think that would have saved them a lot of trouble. But what did you think of Strauss? And she's like, rubber, baby, rubber, baby.
Oh, that made me so angry. I'm like, girl, it's not that serious. But she still flubbed anyway when she got on stage. I'm like, girl,
her eyes.
Were you at rehearsal, Justice Strauss? Because, my God.
I just love her. Like,
she's so goofy.
And like, she just shows up. Yeah, she's like not saying anything. And Count Olaf's like, come on.
Like
let's
you've
go.
done this many times, please.
And then she
now we
calls
see
her
why
man.
her acting career did not take off. Poor thing. Poor thing.
Like, did you notice whenever she said, Violet, do you take this woman as your lawfully wedded? And he's like, husband, man, or something like that. I was just like,
that was so funny.
So nervous.
That was funny. Yeah, I felt very worried for Violet because at that point it did feel like they came up with nothing. It did feel like they were cornered and they just wanted to save Sunny. But lo and behold, Sunny comes through in that little whatever she was in, wagon or something.
I just want to know how she got him to do that. Like, he had tape on his mouth and then brings her in a wheelbarrow. Like,
yeah, his henchmen are not the brightest group in town.
They're so easily swayed.
Yeah.
Like, very.
Really?
And I just love the group. They're so freaking quacky and just weird.
I'm actually really digging the twins.
Yes, they're so funny too.
Just
my God.
Because they're so similar, but like if you look at them when they're sitting next to each other, their faces are always different. So one's like got like pursed lips, like she's like, and the other one's like. Like, it's just like the best facial expressions.
I
love them.
They did a great job at.
I want to keep them.
At bringing these characters to life. But they finally, it seems like they're just relieved that Sunny is not dead and not dropped from the tower. But at that point, as far as we know, the marriage is still finalized.
Yeah.
So now, in a strange turn of events, Count Olaf decides to expose himself to the whole audience and let them know, listen, this is what I've been doing. You've all been tricked, and now I'm getting this money. What did you guys think about his decision to basically admit his whole plan. Was that just pride and like
it
just
was very,
ego?
Yeah. It was very ego because like I know like sometimes being on this show, like sometimes you get inspired and you're like, oh, I want to tell you guys what's happening, and then afterwards you're like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. So like I get like he's probably got all excited. He had like the whole audience there. He was like ready to bring forth his information. But I love how he's like, we'll celebrate with finger foods, and then Mrs. Poe's like, oh, I'll take that.
She's horrible. Yeah, I think too. It was very villainous. You know, like at the end of a show or a movie or something, the villains are like, and now you know it's all mine, and ha ha ha, y'all failed. I win, you know, but actually you don't win. So that's kind of what it reminded me of.
And it's funny because I want to believe, definitely. And I want to believe that that's not realistic. But I start to think about things like when you maybe prove someone wrong or something, don't you kind of want to make it known? I think there's just a human aspect in wanting to tell people when you've won, you know? So I get it. I thought that was funny. But hey, you know, the kids outsmarted him again. Because Violet used her left hand instead of her right. And Klaus,
I've never heard that before though either. I'm like, that's got to be made up.
I don't know, but
we should have looked that up.
I'm pretty sure in the books that's what happens.
Yeah.
In the movie they changed it to where she was starting to do her left hand, and Count Olaf's like, your right hand, please, and then like she changed over. So in the book, or no, in the movie, they kind of did it differently. But to this one, I believe they were pretty true with the book. But I love when Klaus is like, can I have a blackboard, please? And like he just like wheels over and he just like starts doing all the legality stuff.
Yeah.
Like what in the world? Like where'd you get this blackboard for one?
I know.
They got it hanging in the wings.
Props.
Yeah, they got all the props. But I like it. I like that Justice Strauss was the one to kind of make the final decision. It was her time to be the saving grace in the situation.
Speak up.
Finally, right?
She was like, I don't know. Never be afraid to admit you don't know something. I'm like, really?
Girl.
Here we go.
Help, I know.
But she does. She comes through. She comes through, which is cool.
Know.
And finally, the whole town is on to Count Olaf's dark scheme.
Yes.
But it really doesn't matter because he escapes. Yeah. And I'm like, oh no, we gotta get him.
Through the trap
and then
door
she,
in the pond.
right. She looks down. She sees that there's a trap door, so that's how he escaped.
Yeah.
Don't you think you'd be like, oh, there's a trap door, like
I was
follow
hoping
him.
that she was gonna speak up and be like, oh, look, a trap door, but of course not.
No, she's not that on it.
No,
not at all. But that's okay because it seems like we've got a temporary relief from the situation. They're gonna go to Dr. Montgomery, which was originally supposed to be their guardian, based on their parents' request.
Yes.
And it seems like everything is going okay. So we cut to a scene of Justice Strauss back in her library, and she revisits this book. The book, what was it? The Incomplete History of Secret Organizations. Do we expect to see more from this? Is she smart? Obviously she's smart, but is she like there enough to put these things together to really help them?
I don't know. I feel like she might get a glimpse of something and get ready to go help and then like get killed off or something. I feel like that's gonna happen. I mean, and in the books that's what happens, right? She gets killed off. So.
I think it is. Yeah, she's always just too little, too late. So she will smarten up, or she'll like give her the program, so to speak. But it might.
Does she die in the books?
I feel like she does.
I forgot.
I totally forgot.
Something tells me, or she either disappears or something. Something. I don't think she lasts. I don't think she.
Yeah.
But you guys let us know, I guess. I mean, it's not really spoiler alert because we've read the books.
Yeah, we did read the books, so it's one of those things where we read the books a while ago. Yeah. So if we get some stuff wrong, it's just because we have not read it in so long.
Yeah.
It's the book, then in the movie, and then this series.
Exactly. It's a lot. Bear with us. And finally, again, we end the episode with a mother and father scene, which... You know, last week I was kind of weird about stating their identities, but like Dakota pointed out, it does say mother and father on IMDb, so that's what I'm going to say they are. Yeah. Are they close to escaping and helping?
I feel like
it looks like it.
Yeah.
Again, we see the mom, like, she's putting together this little same mechanism that Violet was, and I'm like, okay, so that's where, you know, she gets it from. And father, whatever, there's that eye again. I feel like we see that a lot throughout even the books and then the movie. So
did you think that was a trap door? It looked like it.
I did.
Okay.
He's uncovering like a trap door. So
cool.
So it's almost like these things were hidden for the secret organization to be able to escape if they needed to. So it's kind of crazy. Like, okay, this dungeon that they're going to get put in, the secret organization had already thought about. Isn't it called the VFD or something like that?
Yeah. Volunteer Fire Department, which they think it is, but I think later on in one of the books
it's something
else.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys.
We'll get there.
It's like the secret
we will get
organization.
there, but I don't know, will we see the parents escape soon? Let's do some predictions.
Yes.
There we go.
There you go.
There it is. I was wondering where it was.
You know, that kind of sounds like Count Olaf's voice a little bit.
It does, right?
Sad.
Do you guys, anybody want to start?
You can go.
Okay, I think that they are gonna escape, the parents. They're gonna escape through the trap door. They're gonna get somewhat close, and they're gonna get captured again. I think that's gonna be like a one of those things that goes back and forth each episode until I don't know when, because this is one of those things. There's 13 books. I think we're getting through the first 4 books. In this first season, so like the parents are supposed to be dead in the books,
right?
So since they're here, I don't know if they're gonna reunite ever, because I'm wondering, are they gonna string this along for like however many seasons until the last book, and then be like, hey, your parents are here, or are they gonna kill off the parents? Like, I really want to know.
Oh, I hope they don't kill off the parents. I don't know, but I do think also, because we didn't talk about like when Jacqueline, she said she had a lead on those parents, and then Gustav was shot with that tranquilizer.
Yes, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know if he's dead, but if he's tranquilized and he's in water, is he gonna drown? Or is he gonna come back up?
And you saw his last breath. He was like,
yeah. So I'm like, dang. So I think Jacqueline, as determined as she is, she's still gonna, try and find little loopholes and stuff because she can't go to Mr. Poe. I think she's gonna be a pivotal part in the series coming up soon. As far as the parents, I feel like we won't see the parents meet with the siblings until the very end as well.
Yeah, thank you for bringing up that scene, because I completely skipped over it.
Yeah.
So I saw someone on our YouTube comments say something about just wait on the parents. Like, I don't want to give it away, but just wait. So it got me thinking, maybe there's more to the parent situation than we think. Maybe those aren't their real parents.
Really
maybe
mad.
some imposters will show up. I don't know, but I think there's going to be a weird situation with the parents.
Yeah.
So that's my prediction.
Okay. All right.
It's not as we see. It's not as we
This
think.
whole series is not as we think.
Yeah,
Not
it's
at
not
all.
as we think.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And we will see. Let us know what your predictions are in the meantime. And obviously, if you already watched all episodes, that's fine too. Just let us know what you
You're ahead
think.
of us.
We're
But
not
please
gonna
try not to
try not
don't
to just
spoil
tell
anything,
everything, but
please.
just keep it general.
Yeah, keep
know?
it general
Don't
to pertaining to this episode.
Yeah, keep it general. So next week we will be talking about episodes 3 and 4. So definitely keep those on your radar. We'll
So
be talking
basically,
about
we're
those.
covering the whole The Reptile Room book.
Yes,
Yes.
together.
Yeah, together.
Which will be good. Nice and cohesive.
Yes.
But now, before we go, we want to do some YouTube shout outs. We
Yeah.
want to see what you guys have been saying about the series.
All right.
Yeah, so who wants to start?
I'll go for
Anybody?
it. Okay.
Yeah.
So Zach Hansen, thank you so much for watching, says, I love the fact that they can spend more time with the plotline and get into the nitty-gritty details. The details are what makes this series interesting. Totally agree. Love that they're able to kind of go into it more.
Yeah.
If it were my way, I would probably make 4 episodes, 1 book, just to get all
Even more details, yeah.
Yeah. But I love that. I think that's a really good point, Zach.
That is a good point. What I'd like to probably do is, and I'm sure someone has written about this somewhere, but I actually want to see what they've left out so far. Because I think they've done such a good job
you're right.
in telling the story. I kind of want to remember what was in the books that they haven't shown,
Yeah.
just for the sake of knowing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And we have another one from, I cannot pronounce this person. Algum. I'm not gonna try it.
Oh, yeah,
You did that on purpose to
I'm
make
sorry,
me flub.
I tried to find a
You did it on
different name.
purpose. No, it's fine. This episode was a mixed bag for me. It fared better than the movie, but Olaf is still way too comedic to be a proper villain.
Interesting. Interesting statement.
What do you think about that?
Algum.
I don't know. I think yes, there are comedic parts, but he is a proper villain because he embodies everything that a villain is. I mean, you're greedy, you're predatory, all those things. He's very manipulative with his theater group, so definitely he's villainous.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see how far they push Count Olaf's character.
Yeah,
because I think we kind of mentioned this before, but it is getting a little darker, a little weirder, a little creepier. So I think we're in store for some good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And lastly, Lemony Snicket's presence is perfect to me because seeing his investment and dedication to reporting the Baudelaire's story piques the audience's interest. Thank you, Anna Castaneda, for saying that and for watching our show. I agree. We talked about this last week, and some people were a little iffy about having Lemony Snicket after like, you know, every few scenes.
I like it.
I like that we get this personification of the voice that we always heard in the books.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool.
It breaks that fourth wall. I always love when characters talk to me, you know? It makes me feel like I'm more in the story. Like, you know, you're narrating this to me. I have a better understanding also. So I like that.
I do like it. I think sometimes it does take me out of it a little bit because I forget, but then I'm getting used to it, and it's one of those things where I would be upset if he wasn't there because he's such a huge part of the books.
And that's how it is in the book. I mean, he'll take his time to kind of talk to us, you know, about what is about what happened previously and what we can expect coming up. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool feature.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely appreciate you guys taking the time to leave comments. Hopefully you continue to do so.
Yeah.
And until next week, we'll leave it at that. I am Miaira Jennings. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miaira Jennings. That's Miaira Jennings.
And you can find me on Twitter at Ivanna L. Williams.
You guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T. Jones.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks
we'll
for
see you next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.